Our story begins not with a grand plan for a magical map, but with a quiet, painful secret held by one of four inseparable friends. James Potter was the confident, popular leader, his talent for magic matched only by his flair for showmanship. Sirius Black was his rebellious, handsome counterpart, an aristocrat who rejected his family's dark legacy for the true brotherhood he found at Hogwarts. Peter Pettigrew was the quiet follower, often in awe of his more brilliant friends, his loyalty seemingly absolute. And then there was Remus Lupin, kind, intelligent, and studious. Remus carried a burden that filled him with a deep-seated fear of hurting those he loved most. He was a werewolf. Once a month, during the full moon, he would disappear, taken by Madame Pomfrey to the Shrieking Shack, a remote, fortified house on the edge of Hogsmeade. There, he would endure a painful, lonely transformation, his howls of agony giving the shack its haunted reputation. To his friends, he concocted stories of a sick mother or other family emergencies. But James, Sirius, and Remus were far too clever and far too loyal to be fooled for long. By their second year, they had pieced together the clues. His monthly disappearances, his exhaustion and scars afterwards, the timing that always coincided with the full moon. They confronted him, not with accusation, but with a quiet, unwavering declaration of support. Remus, terrified of being abandoned, confessed everything, expecting revulsion and fear. Instead, his friends offered him the one thing he never expected: acceptance. His secret did not break their friendship. It forged it into something unbreakable. Their immediate goal became clear. They could not cure his lycanthropy, but they could ease his suffering. A werewolf is only a danger to humans. If they could be with him during his transformation, but not as humans, they could keep him company, calm his animalistic rage, and make his lonely ordeal a shared one. The idea was audacious, incredibly dangerous, and highly illegal. They decided they would become animagi. For their friend, they were willing to break any rule, to undertake one of the most difficult pieces of magic known to the wizarding world. The process of becoming an Animagus is notoriously complex and fraught with peril. It requires immense skill, patience, and a deep understanding of transfiguration. A single mistake could result in a permanent, horrific half-human, half-animal state. For 3 underage boys to attempt it in secret was a feat of pure magical genius and reckless devotion. They spent the next 3 years, from their second year to their 5th, buried in ancient texts in the library's restricted section, cross-referencing spells, and meticulously gathering ingredients under the very nose of Albus Dumbledore. The first step was to hold a single mandrake leaf in their mouths for an entire month, from full moon to full moon. This was an exercise in pure discipline. They endured bland meals, mumbled through classes, and risked swallowing the bitter leaf. In their sleep, after a month, they used the saliva-soaked leaf in a complex potion, adding their own hair, a silver teaspoon of dew collected from a place untouched by sunlight or human feet for 7 days, and the chrysalis of a death's head hawk moth. They placed this concoction in a crystal phial and left it in a dark, quiet place, to be touched only by the light of the full moon. The most dangerous part was the incantation. During the next electrical storm, they had to move the phial from its hiding place, place the tip of their wands against their hearts, and recite the incantation. Amato Nemo Animato Animagus. From that moment on, they had to repeat the incantation. Every sunrise and sunset, without fail, feeling a second heartbeat within their chests, until they finally had a clear vision of the animal they were to become. For James, a natural leader, whose patroness would one day be a stag, the vision came. Clearly, a large, proud stag, the king of the forest. For Sirius, sleek, rebellious, and fiercely loyal, it was a great, shaggy black dog, a creature that could navigate both the light and shadows. For Peter, small and often overlooked, it was a rat, able to scurry and hide, a perfect form for a spy. They each accepted their inner animal. The final step was to place their wands to their chests, visualize their animal form, and allow the transformation to happen. The first transformations were painful and disorienting. They practiced in secret, often in the dead of night, helping each other through the strange, jarring sensation of bones reshaping and senses shifting. But soon, they mastered it. By the end of their 5th year, they had achieved the impossible. James became Prongs, the stag. Sirius became Padfoot, the dog. And Peter became Wormtail, the rat. They had done it. They were ready to join their friend Mooney. Now that they could transform at will, they could finally accompany Remus. One full moon, as he was led to the tunnel beneath the hoping willow, they followed under James's invisibility cloak. Once Remus was inside the shrieking shack, the 3 of them transformed. As a stag, a dog, and a rat, they were no danger to the werewolf. Remus's transformation was still painful, but his lonely agony was gone. He had his pack. They would spend the night wrestling, playing, and exploring the shack and the Forbiddens. Forrest, his werewolf mind calmed by the presence of his animal friends. The howls from the shack were no longer of pain, but of a strange, wild joy. It was during these nocturnal adventures that the idea for the map was born. To keep Remus safe and entertained, they needed to know every inch of the grounds. They needed to know where every secret passage led, where every teacher patrolled, and where every ghost tended to wander. They began a new grand project to create a complete and total guide to Hogwarts, a masterpiece of magical CART, pape, Y. This required even more complex magic than the Animagus transformation. They began by exploring the castle every night, Padfoot, Prongs, and Wormtail slipping out under the invisibility cloak. Wormtail's small size was invaluable. He could scurry under doors, through cracks in the walls, and discover passages even the ghosts didn't know about. They mapped everything, from the kitchens to the owlery, from the dungeons to the highest tower. But a simple map wasn't enough. They wanted it to be alive. James and Sirius, both exceptionally gifted charmers, devised the homunculus charm, an incredibly advanced piece of magic that would track the movements of every single person inside the castle. This was the map's true genius. It wasn't just a static drawing. It was a living, breathing tracker of life at Hogwarts. They bound this charm to a single large piece of parchment, enchanting it so that it would appear to be blank to the naked eye. The magic was layered and intricate, designed to last for generations. The final touch was the password. They needed a way to activate and deactivate the map that was worthy of their own mischievous spirit. Sirius, with his flair for the dramatic, came up with the activation phrase. It was a declaration of their intent, a proud statement of their purpose. To reveal the map, one had to tap it with their wand and declare, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." The magic would respond, and the intricate lines of the castle would bleed into the parchment, the tiny ink dots of every inhabitant moving through the corridors, all under the proud title, Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, Purveyors. Of aids to magical mischief makers, are proud to present the Marauders map. They also needed a way to protect it from their sworn enemy, the nosy and suspicious Argus Filch, and their Slytherin rival, Severus Snape. They enchanted the map to respond to insults. If someone tried to read it without the proper password, the map would fill with taunting messages, insulting the reader's intelligence and curiosity. And to clear it, to hide their secrets once more, they devised a simple final phrase, a perfect end to their adventures, mischief managed. For the rest of their time at Hogwarts, the map was their greatest tool and their most cherished creation. It was a symbol of their friendship, a testament to their magical talent, and a key to a world of freedom and adventure within the castle walls. It was the product of a loyalty so profound that it drove 3 boys to break the laws of magic itself, just to make their friends' darkest days a little less lonely. Long after they had left the school, the map remained a silent guardian of their legacy, waiting in a dusty drawer in Filch's office for the next generation of mischief makers to come along and whisper the magic words. It was more than just a map. It was the bottled spirit of 4 friends, a perfect, everlasting memory of a time when their greatest magic was, and always would be, each other.